Hello everyone, welcome back to No Man's Sky Perma 2020 Farming and Mining. Today we're going to tackle planting and I was just checking out the Colossus in first person. That doesn't appear to be any way to turn. So if any of you happen to know how to turn the Exocraft in first person, please let me know in the comments because I can't figure it out. The first thing we need to do is get the essential plants. So we're going to plant circuit boards, and so we need to have star bulb. And the 4 should be 8 slots. And we'll grab some paraffinium for that. We only need a little bit of cactus flesh. I doubt we need that much. And we need selenium and frostwort as well. And we're out of space, so I'm going to get rid of some of the cactus flesh. And grab some more selenium. And it's probably too much frostwort as well. Alright. That leaves us no room. I've loaded back up my cargo here. I've got pyrite, that's for the cactus flesh. I have dioxide, that's for frostwort. The phosphorus is for the selenium. And as you saw, I grabbed paraffinium for the star bulb. If you do carry paraffinium around, you only need to carry 100 to drop an exocraft. And I usually have all my exocraft at one base and just use the call station, which just requires these things here: batteries, microprocessors, and antimatter. So we put enough stuff in our suit to plant a few domes, and let's get started. So I already have 5 domes planted, and we can go either way. We can go through the domes, or we can go down to that extra exit down there. As you can see, we have 3 exits in this room. Now, this exit was not added until after this dome was planted. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the next empty dome. When you line your domes up like this, you have to delete the hallways, at least one of them, in order to get the right number of plants in. The second thing I'm going to say is do this in first person. And the reason you do this in first person is because this computer thing is too low, and it interferes if you're in third person with your ability to do stuff. So, all right, here we go. We're going to delete. Oh, I forgot about that part. We are going to have to move this stuff to the ship so that we can carry this stuff right here. So you gotta delete the 2 hallways. What I do is I look back at the hallway, or look back at the dome that I started at, and I start on the very next one. And we're gonna go down to plant. And we're just gonna plant them in order. The first thing in the order is frostwort, and we need 2 of those. The next thing is selenium, and this is just going in order by the build menu. Selenium, you need 4. The next thing in the order is cactus flesh. You only need 1. And then star bulb, you need 8. Now you can see that leaves 1 empty spot right there, directly where your main hallway is going to be. You can put something in that slot like I did in the first 5 domes if you want to build up a supply of something. I don't need any more supply of anything. Then we're going to go back here. Once we get this going, this stuff will just be where it needs to be. Then we're going to turn a quarter turn and go down this hallway. Tap back down to Frostport. We're going to take out that hallway and the one behind us. And we're going to start right here. Now, if it won't let you plant right there, see how it won't let me plant? Then we have to take another step. And this happens quite often. Let's see. Is that in range? Yep. And that step is we have to reload. One dome in and we're already reloading. Oh, geez. I don't know the exact mechanic that's going on there. I've jumped out of the domes and gone down underneath to see if there was anything under there. Dihydrogen will block it. I don't know what else could possibly cause that, but let's go again. And first thing we need is Frostport. As you can see, I can plant it now. And the cactus flesh, and then the star bulb. And that brings us right back here. Oh, keep doing that. And we'll turn all the way around this time. Go on to the next one. If I can keep my menus open, it'll be a miracle. Be super careful not to delete a dome that you've just planted because, oh, that's frustrating. Alright. To Frostport. And right back to where we started. And we'll turn right all the way around. Put that one back in. And I turned all the way around. There we go. Fiddling around with this settles down after you've done it for a little while. It's been quite a while since I did all this stuff. Right. Turn all the way around. Right. And we got a turn right here. So we'll take out that one at the turn. And we're going to start right here. Takes quite a bit of concentration when you first start doing it, but then you'll start to see the pattern. And you see we have one blank one there. It means we're at the end of that part. Yep, I need to turn. And sometimes you gotta figure it out. It's not right. Let's see if I got this one wrong. Let's see, that's the planted one. And then we turn the corner this way. Alright. Alright, let's see what we have left. Almost nothing and no star bulb left. So you see we picked up too much of this stuff, and now we got to pick up star bulb again. Alright. Let's check out the gamma weed stuff. We'll just go out the escape door here. I don't play very often in first person. In fact, the only thing I do in first person is planting. Alright. Now we're gonna, when we go to change to the next thing, we're gonna reset. We still need frostwort, but we need a lot more of it. So we'll go over here and we'll grab some frostwort. And a little bit more there. And let's check our dioxide. Only 250 dioxide left. So we'll see if I stashed away some more dioxide somewhere. There's some right there. Fill those back up. We need gamma weed. The vast majority of what we need is gamma weed. I think I can just quick transfer that. Let's see, how much do I have now? 4, 8, 9, 10. And then we need cuprite, or facium as it's now called. There's a little bit of it. Try to use up the little bits. And there's 98 more. So it gets piled everywhere. When you use something a lot, like facium, and the reason we're using a lot of facium is because of the nutrient processor. So when you use something a lot, it tends to get a little bit spread out. Now for gamma weed, we need uranium. For facium, we don't need anything. It just plants by itself. And once again, we need dioxide for the frostwort. All right, let's see how far I got on these guys. I got quite a bit further, I think. I'll just run right through all these domes. The most confusing part of this is turning the corner, without a doubt. That's the hardest part. And that's why I want to put in doors after I'm done. And it'll just make it a whole bunch easier. So we're going to face where we came from so that we know when we get to the end, all we need to do is turn to the right. Okay. I have to say that a couple of times in my head. Let's face back to where we came from. And now we have a different set of things. So this starts with gamma weed being first, and we need 8 of these. Then we need 5 frostwort. And then we need, should be 2 of those. And then you have a space. And that's really the only way to know, for me to know, that I've got it right. All right. Now this time, because we've turned the corner, going straight ahead is in front of us, and to the left is the turn. Otherwise, I get completely turned around. Oops. Alright, tab back down to gamma weed bean first. And there's 8. Then we need 5 frostboard. 3, 4, 5, and then 2 copperite. That looks like I moved over. Tab over to the hallway. Then to the left. Alright, let's do another one. This being the straight section. Have to turn all the way around. And that's our straight section right there. Back down to gamma weed. 8 of those. 5 frostboard. 2 coprites. And then we're facing the right way. And all the way around. Let's see how much stuff we have left. We have a little bit left. And dioxide, we're okay. We are out of uranium. I wonder if I have some more stashed away somewhere. As long as you're within the very first part of your base, the part within 300U of your base computer, you'll have access to the containers, even if they're on the other side of that little section there. All right, let's go forward. And we'll delete that hall. And delete that hall. Now, we never used to have to go through all of this. To be honest with you, having to delete the halls in order to get enough plants in is new from beyond. And it's pretty irritating. I lost count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2, and that should leave 1 right in the middle. All right. Ah, the craziness. All right. Let's go look at the outside of the base, and you'll see here why I need these exits, because we gotta walk all the way back through the living glass section to get out. And I'll show you the things that I've added. Grief. Once this is all planted, we will go through and excuse me, we'll go through and we'll do a harvest thing where I'll show you the easiest way to harvest and keep going without having to stop and move stuff into containers. And we do have the stuff here, but I want to keep planting today, so I'm not going to start harvesting and making stuff until I get to that point. Now we're going to put this in the Colossus. The Colossus does get out of range. It gets out of range the same way that your Starship does. If your Starship is on the landing pad on your base, then you're okay. But if the Starship was on the ground over there, sitting right here, by the time I got to the back domes, I'd probably be out of range. All right, so I added, glitched in for this part, a walkway that goes all the way around the entire base. It starts right here. I just threw one wall in there, and it goes around this. This was all glitched in. All the stuff that's around the landing pad had to be glitched in. Exactly the same way that I glitched it in for the front of the landing pad. Alright, so the very first row of gamma weed ends right here. And since it's planted, I think we can go ahead and put in a door. There we go. And we shouldn't have to put in anything. We should be able to walk smoothly across that door. And so that way you can get out right there. When I get down to these parts down here, I'll probably put in a door on this side as well. Now right now there is a door that leads into this section right here. So that works out pretty well. And this is going to continue back to the front of the base. I don't think I have the pure ferrite on me. I might have enough. Let's see if we can do it. Gonna go all the way back down to hallways. And then we gotta get it going the right way. Oops, I was moving too fast. Now that we gotta wait for that orange thing, it's kind of ridiculous. And we are back into the hallway, the main hallway for the plants. I had thought about putting the refiner room in here. Let's see if we have room. We do have room for a refiner room. I might possibly, after the domes are planted though, because if the dome is touching the room that I install, it will interfere with planting. So I don't want to do anything that's going to interfere with planting yet. Alright. We have this nice walkway now that goes all the way around. And later on, if the complexity is not too high, if I don't have too many problems with loading issues, I'll go ahead and put in the sort of short walls there. Alright. I've added this part. This goes almost all the way to the power. I haven't had to add any power yet at all. I think they're all connected to each other. Yep. I'm using half the power now. And that will increase as I add extractors if I need to add them. I do need to add more nitrogen and paraffinium extractors, but I don't need to do it right now because I have a lot of excess already. If this was a base that I was going to use as a place for everyone to come to on Permadeath PC and make stasis devices, then I would add the power and the extractors in right now. So we can almost build a walkway right to that platform, but that's complexity again. All right, now then, up here you see this wire and some pipe. This guy doesn't want to be done again. Most of this pipe goes through the hills. I tried to keep it level just so that some of it would be buried. I'm not too concerned about the way things look. I'm more interested in what they produce. Alright, so like I told you before, I came out here. I already had oxygen identified. And so we have 4 oxygen extractors. There's actually 2,000 in this one right now. This is a B-class spot, and we don't really need a ton of oxygen. We just need enough to mix with other stuff to make other stuff more. And so we'll go ahead and fly back over to the base. But it saves time having to go to a space station to buy it, because RGTT has like 40 oxygen in it, and that's definitely not enough. Not when I'm trying to multiply the supplies that I do have. Should have put in an elevator. That's another way of doing it. You can put in site-to-site teleporters, and I might do that still if I find them necessary. I probably will do that on the other two planets because there's going to be a lot of running back and forth between the deposits and the supply depot for those. All right. So right now we have that 2,000 oxygen right there. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up and drop it straight into storage because no matter where oxygen goes in storage, it belongs there. Whether it goes into the supplies for the ship, or it goes into supplies for myself, or it goes into supplies for farming, it belongs in all three of those sections. Right. Now let's look at the refiner. And I was telling you, we're doing this right at the end really quickly, just as a sort of sub note. And I already got oxygen on me. So we'll look at the refiner and see what we can do. So here's nitrogen, and I'll just grab oxygen. And that's going to make, nitrogen makes sulfurine. So if I needed sulfurine, this is a good way to double up the nitrogen, because if you don't have the oxygen, you only make 83 sulfurine out of 250 nitrogen. That's a waste of nitrogen. So use the oxygen, because then you get the same out that you put in. All right? If that was, and we can just go ahead and go through. I gotta exit the refiner. There we go. And here's the sulfurine. I don't have 250 sulfurine right now because I used it up. But oxygen and sulfurine make radon. If you add oxygen, it's going to make exactly what you put in the original gas. If you don't, you're only going to get 53, because once again, it's 3-to-1 sulfurine to radon. And that is a bad ratio. And let's see what I did with the little tiny bit of radon I had left. I've actually got more than 250. And radon makes nitrogen. So if you have, if you need nitrogen and what you have is radon, add oxygen so that you get every bit out of it that you put into it, because otherwise it's a huge waste of those gases, and you're really just kind of running yourself in circles, and you might as well go harvest the stuff in the wild at that point. So use oxygen. And the same is true for pretty much everything. There's only a few things that oxygen doesn't work for, and I'll just run through really quickly. You need a lot of condensed carbon for stasis devices. If you put condensed carbon in a refiner, you're going to get carbon. You need to put the oxygen in to get condensed carbon out of it. And look at that ratio, 1-to-6. So you're going to get 6 times the condensed carbon by adding oxygen. And what this means right here, 2-to-6, 1-to-6, is that if you put 500 oxygen into this 250 condensed carbon, you're going to get 1,500 condensed carbon out of that, because 250 times 6 is 1,500. So that's how you look at it. You need more oxygen than condensed carbon, but that's cool. If you don't have any condensed carbon and you only have carbon, you're still going to get a good deal. Carbon all by itself is 2-to-1. So you're only going to get 125 carbon out of, or condensed carbon out of this carbon, if you don't use oxygen. If you use oxygen, you're going to more than double, just a little bit more than double. So I think it's like 700 or something like that. It's 2 to 5. Alrighty, put that away. Put that away. And experiment around. I'm going to go ahead and attach um, the refiner list from Zane's World down below. It's a complete refiner list. Everything is there. It's searchable. You just put in what you need, and it shows you the ways to make it. And it's a really, really useful tool. Far more useful than referring back to the last 2 minutes of a video every time you want to know. It's a website, so you can have it up on your cell phone or on your PC or your laptop, and while you're refining in game, and just go right through, and it's totally searchable. It's really awesome. All right, you guys, we got some of it planted. I'm going to plant the rest. As you can see clearly from what we did, it's probably going to take me around 2 hours to plant all of that. And then when we come back, probably Saturday, we'll come back and we'll make living glass and circuit boards. All right, you guys, I want to thank you all so much for coming along. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.